Welcome back, YouTube.
Welcome back.
This is COZUNON, and today we're doing a collection video for the PlayStation 1. The PlayStation 1 is the first console that I personally bought. Not the first one we owned, but the one that I personally bought myself.
I personally bought them. The first system I bought was PS1.
So we're just gonna, it's kind of huge collection, so I'm just gonna go off and start on this. The first thing I want to talk about is the demo discs. I have a couple demo discs I have with me right here. This one's actually from the PlayStation magazine number 7. A lot of people really hate demo discs. I actually found these both really cheap. This one at a Goodwill, or a store called Tideman's, which is like a Goodwill, for like 50 cents. And then it's actually got some pretty decent games like Tekken 3, which is probably like the best Tekken of all time.
No doubt.
Gran Turismo, Blasto, and Hot Shots Golf. But I really like doing the demo disc because it's like a glimpse in the past. You put the demo disc in, you find out what was new at that time. So it's always kind of like nostalgia, like, well, what was cool when this came out. And the other one I have is actually an Eidos demo disc, and it just comes with a couple playable demos of like Ninja, Tomb Raider, Soul Reaver, and what's the other one? The Unholy War. This one's actually still sealed. It's never been opened. I'm never going to open it. I found this at a church Goodwill for $1. So awesome pickups. These are in no particular order. I just grabbed them and threw them up on this table. I'm going to start off with this stack right here. These, when I was into the PS1, I was really huge into wrestling. And these are all my wrestling games for the PlayStation 1. And it started off with the Power Move Pro Wrestling. This is actually my original copy, which happened to be my younger brother's, Kenny. This was his actual game, but now I own it. And this game just revolutionized, wrestling for us once we played this game. Because before you played like, the Raw games, and then you had the SmackDown. You had the WrestleMania, the arcade game, and then In Your House, and they were more like a Mortal Kombat, and so it just wasn't the same. We're going to go into my WCW collection now, and I got WCW vs. the World. This isn't the original one. A lot of my PlayStation games I owned originally was... I'm not going to go there. But this isn't the original one. It is Greatest Hits. I found it really cheap online. Next, I've got 2 copies of WCW Nitro. Greatest Hits and the black one.
Awesome game.
This game was so much fun. I love this game. I played it for so long. And then after Nitro, they came out with a second one of that, and that's WCW NWO Thunder. This game got bashed so many different times because it was not that much different from Nitro, but you could set stables and you can be Ravens flock, and I was a huge Ravens fan at the time, so to me it was awesome. And from there, on the PlayStation 1, there was the WCW Mayhem. This game, when I first got it, a lot of people didn't like it. I actually didn't think this game wasn't that bad. I thought it was alright. So it was a lot of unlockables. You had to play the shit out of the game. They actually had a really cool feature in this game where you had to you can get a code from WCW every month, and you could play the pay-per-view. But what happened is, after like a month after the game came out, like the codes were like obsolete because there was a whole new roster of people, so you can end up only playing like 3 matches, and it shortly dropped after that. Then they went to WCW Backstage Assault. This game, there was no excuse for this game. This was not a step in the right direction for WCW.
Horrible game.
One of the worst games I have ever played.
You don't want that one for your collection.
No, definitely not. WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game. I actually own this one for the PlayStation, like you see here, for the Super Nintendo, and I want to say the Saturn. No, not the Saturn. The Sega Genesis. The Saturn I own. For the Sega Saturn, I owned In Your House. This is the follow-up to WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game. This one was really fun too. The thing I didn't like about this one is you had finishers. Not like The Undertaker has the tombstone, but like a finisher where you turn them into goo or something. They try to make it too much like Mortal Kombat. Next, you have WWF Warzone. Classic fucking game. When this game came out, I was all over it. Played that game religiously for I don't know how long. And then when they dropped WWF Attitude, I love this game a lot. I didn't play this game as much because at the time we were moving and we were kind of in between places a lot. So I didn't play this one as much, but I still loved it. And then when the titles really took off for me was WWF SmackDown. This game was so fucking awesome. The graphics were so much better than anything else before. Just awesome. And then of course they went to WWF SmackDown 2, which was still better, and they introduced the casket match, which was fucking awesome. And that was it for the PlayStation 1 on WWF. But there was the ECW games, ECW Hardcore Revolution and ECW Anarchy Rules. And these games are just crap. No lie. Anybody that says, you know, they're good are ECW fanboys who live in the 90s.
They don't know what they're talking about, pretty much.
They're no good. Just to keep this going, I got NFL Game Day 2002. And then I've got Madden 2002. With Madden, I actually own this for the PS2 also. I was really big into football for a couple years. I really don't play any of the newer football games. I don't know why this one's separate from all my other ones, but I do have Twisted Metal 4. The only one I'm missing in my collection is Twisted Metal 3. And then I have Grand Theft Auto, the London expansion. I own this one twice, and I'll go over the other one when I find it in the stack somewhere. Here's the other ones. I got a Twisted Metal. I actually went back and bought Twisted Metal because I originally didn't play it when it first came out. The first game I played from of the Twisted Metal series was actually Twisted Metal 2, and this one was so much fun. So much fun. This game was...
The game was shit.
It was the shit. No lie. You can get anything better than Twisted Metal 2. I don't give a fuck what you said at the time. You know, even when Vigilante 8 came out, I have Vigilante 8 Second Offense, which it's an okay game, but it's not Twisted Metal. It definitely had its fans and its place in history, but not the same. I do have by Single Track. Single Track is the people who did the original Twisted Metal. They came out with their own game after Sony released them from doing the Twisted Metal, and they gave the contract over to 989, their own in-home studios. They created their own card combat game called Road Trip. This was actually a lot of fun.
The game was a blast.
Not as fun. I did too, but it wasn't as fun as Twisted Metal. You know, you're picking up travelers and you're trying to take them to sites to get money. It's almost like a Twisted Metal meets Crazy Taxi, kind of. The next one is Doom. Doom is the shit. And for the computer it is. For the PlayStation 1, it's not so good. Anytime you get this little label right here, or this one doesn't have a label, it just says it right here. Custom PlayStation Edition, that means custom PlayStation shit. That's what it means. No game is ever good when it has that on there. No game. And I have a couple other ones, and I'll go over them when I get to it. Duke Nukem Time to Kill. I was huge into Duke Nukem 3D, and so I had to get this game. By no comparison is it anything like 3D. Wow. Yeah, exactly. The graphics don't even hold up, even like a matchstick to it. Not that great. But at the time I was ecstatic to get it. You know, it's Duke Nukem, right? This one is actually a really, really fun game. One of the first games I owned for the PlayStation, Project Overkill. And
awesome game.
Awesome game. This is back before the internet. So basically, all you had to go off when you're buying video games was magazine reviews and the cover. And the cover was real simple, but it was bloody, so I picked it up, and I was not disappointed at all. You know, 4 characters, big guns, a lot of enemies, plenty of bullets, just lay waste to everything that gets in your fucking way. It had a lot of destructible environments, too, so you can shoot the walls and they would blow up. You can shoot computers and they would blow up. Really, really fun. Next is the Die Hard Trilogy. Awesome game. Well, there's 3 games in it. One is awesome, the other 2 are kind of... I wasn't a big fan of, to be honest with you. But the first one was fucking awesome.
First one was the shit.
This next one, I actually found this at a Savers, which is almost like a Goodwill kind of. And I bought it for $1, and that's Spider-Man. Didn't really get into it that much. Graphics are really, really dated. I did want to, you know, kind of play it, but I never really did get into it. Next game for the PlayStation is probably one of the games that has my favorite soundtrack on it, and that's Test Drive 5. I remember just playing this one and listening to the soundtrack and just going all the way, just around and around and around. I have Test Drive 6 somewhere as well, but I like 5 a lot better. Another one of the games that I first owned for the PS1, and we actually did almost like a video for it, Game Memories, and that's Legacy of Kain. You know, nothing more I can really say about it. And then I do have Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver. To learn more about what we feel about that game, you know, just go ahead and check out the Game Memories. Of course, Siphon Filter, classic game. I love the little buzzkill whatever device. You would shoot it and you would hold it, the little taser. That's what it is. You would hold them, and if the longer you hold them,
Start to fry.
after a while they get on fire. They burn. It's awesome. This one, I actually found this one recently fairly cheap, and that's Final Fantasy Origins. It comes with Final Fantasy 1 and 2. I never owned 1 or 2. I'm not really big into role-playing games, but I figured, you know, it's pretty cool just to put this into my collection. Great collection piece. Let me go through these real quick, because these are just a bunch of crap PlayStation games I picked up at a Goodwill for like $1 a piece, and I couldn't pass it up. But the first one is Batman and Robin. Does not hold up well, does not play well. Next one I was really ecstatic to get, and that's Too Extreme. When I never owned this game, but when I first bought a PlayStation 2, I didn't have enough money to get a video game. So I used to play this shit out of the free demo that they gave you on this game. Next is In the Zone 98. I actually found this one at a FYE, and it was like $2, and I couldn't pass it up. Again, this one's another Goodwill pickup. It's Galaga. It's a take on the old school Galaga from Atari, but with a lot better updated graphics. And then it's Army Men World at War, Final Front, and Razor Freestyle, whatever, Freestyle Scooter. So this is back when scooters were like all the rage, and so they made a video game about it, and you can show this is at the point of its 15-minute fame.
Curb thrashing.
Of course, I got Resident Evil, Director's Cut, and Resident Evil 3. I do own 2, but I have that on the GameCube. But you can't go wrong with these fucking games. These games are classic. If you have a PlayStation, don't have these games, you need to go out and get them. Next is Street Fighter Alpha 3.
Great game.
Awesome game. We went over this in the Street Fighter memories. Go ahead and check that out. Next one is Capcom vs. SNK Pro.
Another great game.
This is a really awesome game. It has a lot of characters to choose from, and it was like one of the first games of its type. You know, you had SNK characters fighting Capcom characters, and it was like, you know, it was the end all be all kind of like final fight. You know, the real final fight.